Hey friends, welcome to today's video. The topic is a viewer request from Tiffany in Pine Barrens, New Jersey. Hey girl, hey. She requested a video that focused on scents or scent memories of the season. So this is uploading in early December, close to Christmas time, and I have sugar plum fairies dancing in my head. The fragrances that I'm going to share with you are associated with those smells that remind me of the early winter and Christmas season. I try to be clever and associate scents with phrases or titles of specific holiday music. I only got so far and then I kind of fell flat. So I have a few of those associations and just want to welcome you to help me with the remaining ones. So before we get started, when you think of this time of the year and you think of holiday celebrations, what comes to mind for you? What's the first thing that pops into your mind in terms of a scent, an aroma that you associate with the holiday season? Please drop it in the comments below. And if you can think of a fragrance that matches that, please do that as well so we can all have a little bit of fun together in the comments section. Before we get started, these won't actually be fragrance reviews. This video is purely just for fun, for the love of the holiday season, so that we can mutually enjoy a moment of levity, a moment of fun memories, a moment of joyful associations with the holiday season and the scents that come with them. So with that, let me kick off with talking about a song that I absolutely love from the holidays that brings me joy in all of its forms. I love the original version the most, and I also love any of the renditions since the original, and it's Marshmallow World. What a fun, playful, joyous song of a little girl looking out into the world, or is it a little boy? I don't know whose voice it is, but looking out into the world where it has snowed and everything just looks beautiful, light, and fluffy. And I associate Delizia de Marshmallow from Perfumes with a marshmallow world. Beautiful, lovely, decently lasting, moderate projection marshmallow fragrance. It smells powdery, like the marshmallows straight out of the bag. That juicy, like sugariness that comes with a fresh, fluffy marshmallow when you put it in your mouth. That's the smell that you get out of this fragrance. Fantastic match for that song. I also love the song Winter Wonderland, Sleigh Bells Ring, Are You Listening? And a fragrance that I associate with Winter Wonderland, specifically snow, is Soleil Neige, which means sun on the snow. This is by Tom Ford, and I find an incredibly underrated fragrance. Some do not find the loveliness in this. I can't not find the loveliness in it. I think this is one of my favorite perfumes in my collection. It sits on my white t-shirt shelf. I call it my white t-shirt shelf. It has probably 30 or so fragrances that are easy reaches that I know I feel clean and lovely and put together in when I'm casual. However, you can dress this fragrance up too. It smells like what I picture the freshest fallen snow to look like. Now, snow doesn't really have a smell, obviously. It does have a quietness that it lays over the land, as it deafens all of the sound coming out there in the world, if you will, serves as sort of sound muffler. And I love the quietness of a fresh snow and the peacefulness of it. This smells like what that lack of sound feels like to me. It's fresh, it's clean, it's bright, it's crisp, and it has some beautiful citrusy, like a citrusy muskiness to it that I think is just fabulous, timeless, and classic. Winter Wonderland for me. What is a Christmas season or holiday season in general without chestnuts roasting on an open fire? You already know the classic that's going to come up is Maison Margiela by the fireplace. A nice, woody, smoky chestnut opening on this, and it mellows out into a nutty vanilla, a sweet, nice vanilla, very reminiscent of sitting around a fireplace with chestnuts roasting. Gotta have this one in the mix. If you don't want to give in to the hype of that one, here is an inexpensive alternative that gives you almost the exact same vibe. This is Amir Al Oud Intense Oud from Lattafa. This big bottle is about $30 or less online, and boy, is it very similar to By the Fireplace, a slightly bit smokier in the opening and then mellows out into a super gorgeous, lovely, sweet vanilla fragrance that is very unisex, very affordable in this huge bottle. And if you want something even less expensive than that, you can go with Clinique Cookies and Kisses. This is a deceitful name in that, yes, it does smell a little bit like a cookie, but it also has a bit of a woody smokiness to it that's very reminiscent of the other two. Then we know as the children are all nestled in their beds waiting for Santa, they have visions of sugar plums dancing in their heads. When I think of plum, I think of two fragrances in my collection, one more so than the other. Midnight Fantasy by Britney Spears, which to me smells mostly like blueberries, but it's a plum and a cherry note here at the top that give it that blueberry thing, along with some colder notes, like I think there's a violet or an iris in here as well. Really delicious, playful fragrance, fun for young ladies, also something that is easily worn by people of all ages. Very sweet, very fun, very playful, definitely in the sugar plum territory. Then, if you wanted something a bit more adult, let's go with Poison from Dior. This is a reformulated version, of course, and it's a heavy tuberose fragrance, but there is a lovely plum note in here that gives it this beautiful sweetness. If you've ever had an old school Christmas, you know about dried fruit on trees or dried stringed fruit around the house to serve as a sort of potpourri, put that festive, spicy, fruity smell into the air, and that includes dried oranges. And so two fragrances come to mind. One is Oranges Bigarade, maybe saying that wrong, from Maison Lancôme. What a happy, delicious, joyous, beautiful orange fragrance that's very uplifting. Reminds me a lot of the beauty of summer, as well as that spicy fruit thing that we get during the holiday season. And the second that I have is Bigaradia from Happy Chopard, another orange-centric, very happy fragrance. The next selection is inspired by that song, Baby, It's Cold Outside, another holiday favorite that's so enjoyable to sing in all of its various forms. And there's a line in there, maybe just a half a drink more. In other words, I'll stay, but maybe just for another half of a drink. And so I think of hot toddies, I think of rum, I think of cognac, I think of all of those liquors that people enjoy in small, responsible doses, of course, during the holiday season. And a recent beauty that has a beautiful rum note, recent addition to my collection that is Andalusian Soul from Merchants of Venice. Rum and vanilla. This is just a lovely, sexy fragrance without being too loud or gaudy. And on the more gourmand end is dark chocolate, rum, and vanilla from Dua, one of my favorite chocolate fragrances with that beautiful boozy note in it as well. There's also Jazz Club from Replica. It has rum, although I don't feel like the rum is super pronounced in that fragrance the way maybe it is in some others. We also love the song, It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas. In fact, is it Andy Williams that sings the old school version of it? I forget the exact crooner, but gosh, that song just fills my heart with happiness and all of the festive spirit of the season. There's a line in that song about silver lanes and candy canes. And although I don't have an exact peppermint fragrance, I do have two that kind of are in that realm. They have a mint note, and I know mint and peppermint are not exactly the same, but hey, humor me here for the sake of the video. I'll feature Oud Lemon Mint from Mancera, a deliciously unisex fragrance. In fact, it leans a little bit on the masculine side, excuse me, but it has a beautiful minty, happy note in here that I think is very fresh and fun and appropriate for that song. And then I also want to share Lolita Lempica Green Lover, which some people say smells like toothpaste because of the mintiness in it, but this is probably the closest to that peppermint feeling anyway, even though it's not peppermint, it's a different kind of a mint in here. But I love this nonetheless, and this is a fun fragrance to wear, very happy and joyful. I also think of the song Oh Holy Night, the night that the Savior was born, and all of the scents that must have been in the air that evening or the evenings to follow. And I think of gold incense. So frankincense, myrrh, and other gifts were brought. And yes, I realize that incense and frankincense are not synonymous. Just play along with me here. This is from Carolina Herrera, and this is a gorgeous, resinous, incensey, ambery fragrance that is just to die for the holiday season, and especially in very cold weather. I also think of the discontinued but worth finding, if you can look it up online, Valentino Myrrh Assoluto, which has a beautiful myrrh note. It has vanilla. It has a yellow floral in here. This is a gorgeous, really deep fragrance. marketed toward women, but certainly wearable by anyone. Beautiful fragrance. The holiday season also makes me think of going shopping, especially with my mom and my aunts and my sisters. And we would go downtown to 34th Street and go into Macy's and other department stores. And you had to walk through the perfume section to get to everything else. And man, that perfume section just smelled like all things floral, beautiful, and fresh. And I think of perfumey fragrances, the perfume counter smell, if you will. And lots of fragrances come to mind when I think of that, like Donna Born in Roma, Idol, and Si Passione. These fragrances that smell like florals, and they smell shampoo-y, and they smell light and fresh, and like you're walking through just a mist of 10,000 perfumes all at once. Love these. I'll get into some of the foodie smells associated with Christmas. Not the ham. Nobody wants to smell like ham. Not the roast pork. Nobody wants to smell like that. Not the lamb chops. Definitely don't want to smell like a lamb chop. Or turkey, God forbid. So I will get into some of the more gourmand-ish fragrances associated with Christmas. But before I do that, let me talk about two scents that people may not necessarily think of when they think of the holidays. So one is the smell of baby doll heads or fresh plastic in any kind of toys. I'm an 80s kid, and we got lots and lots of toys for Christmas. All of the fancy new plastic toys, your Barbie dolls, your My Little Pony sets, all of those kinds of things that were made out of plastic, Weeble Wobbles, all that stuff. And when I think of plastic toys, I think of Lulu from Kasharal. I no longer own this. I passed it along to a friend. I couldn't wear it because it was wearing me. It has some other notes in it that make it really strong, but it has this undeniable like plastic toy smell. And then one of my favorite gifts as a child was just plain old money. I loved getting money for Christmas. And there is a fragrance that reminds me of money, specifically bills. And it is Cabochard from Grey Perfumes. So this is a mostly leathery, mossy fragrance. It's a very dry fragrance, but boy, does it remind me of the smell of money and the excitement of opening that envelope with money in it as a kid and knowing that I would get to spend that on whatever I felt like spending it on. Another gift that I really enjoyed getting, and I know this sounds strange because kids don't usually like getting sweaters. Big, bulky sweaters. I like getting hats and scarves and all things that were spun, like spun yarn, spun wool, cozy knits and materials. And who doesn't love a good cashmere sweater and all of the like soft, fuzzy scents associated with those new clothing items. So specifically related to what cashmere smells like, or what we think it smells like, the scent that we associate with it. And everything that means for the holiday season and getting like that luxe nice gift. Mercurial Cashmere from Electimus is a beautiful one. By the way, this makes a fantastic gift too for the beautiful, soft, floral, fluffy perfume lover in your life. This is everything. This is so good. Mercurial Cashmere. Also, although it doesn't have any kind of cashmere associated with it, 100 Silent Ways and the way that it feels when you smell it, like the texture that it has from a smell standpoint reminds me of a lot of like a smooth cashmere scarf or sweater, as does Fresh Cream Warm Cashmere. So obviously this is a creamier kind of a woody cashmere fragrance, but also delectable, fluffy, soft, and fun. I asked my son, what scent do you associate with Christmas? And he said wrapping paper. And I thought, yeah, absolutely. That smell of fresh paper, wrapping paper, the smell of Scotch tape, it all has a scent to it. And I think, of course, of the scent by commodity called Paper, which is a lovely ISO-E super woody fragrance that I would have a full bottle of. I don't need it right now because I have a lot of woody fragrances, but it's definitely like on the short list of fragrances if I ever run out of my woody fragrances. Fabulous option if you love that smell of fresh paper, greeting cards, wrapping paper, note paper, all of that sort of thing. Then we're doing what, of course, we are rocking around the Christmas tree. So you have pine smells. Pine can also be similar to juniper, a little bit of cedar, those kinds of woody, piney, really green and wood smells together. And a beautiful fragrance for this, not one that I have and not one that I really want in my collection because I don't want to smell like this. But if you like the smell and want it on you for Christmas, try Après. The bottle alone, the color of it gives away what it smells like. This is just like a foresty, piney kind of a smell. If you're into that and you want to smell like the Christmas tree, there you go. And then around the Christmas tree, close to it, you also have cinnamon. And I'm talking about the cinnamon brooms and cinnamon cones, pine cones that are scented like that. And so something close to that, and this is something I use for air freshener, not on my body. This is cinnamon bark from Demeter. In fact, you're going to hear a bit of Demeter fragrances coming up here. This is exactly like cinnamon bark. And in fact, it has a little bit of a piney touch to it now that I smell it again after thinking about Christmas trees and so forth. So you can spray your room down, spray your linens down, spray your couch down, spray your tree down if you want some additional cinnamony smell that isn't too in the sweet direction, but is really like the spice, the true cinnamon spice with a little bit of woodiness to it. Now let's get into a few classic Christmas food related smells or gourmand, gourmet in the kitchen kinds of scents. So eggnog, of course, eggnog is like the quintessential holiday drink and scent and flavor and all of those things. I don't have something that's exactly like eggnog, but I have a combination that's kind of close. And it is again from Ellis, and this is vanilla milk, which has grown on me more. It's still not a love, but it's moving into a like territory. So I didn't dislike this ever, but as this has sat more and matured, it becomes more and more like that melted vanilla smell, which is a lot of what eggnog smells like to me. Like warm ice cream is what eggnog smells like. If you warmed up ice cream, there you go. And we like an eggnog drink here called coquito, which is like a Puerto Rican island traditional eggnog, except it's spiced up with rum and other kinds of spices. So I mix coconut milk chai from Organic Perfume Girl. You can find this on Etsy, and I have a bigger bottle of this downstairs that I haven't opened quite yet. But these two together give you that nice spicy eggnog scent if you like that kind of a smell for yourself. All variations of cinnamon flavored, this, that, and the other for Christmas. There are lots of beautiful cinnamon fragrances out there. A few that I would like to feature for Christmas morning is Cinnamon Bun, again from Demeter. You can use this as a body spray because it is a cologne spray intended for yourself, and you can use this as a linen spray. You can spray this on your towels. You can spray this on any fabric. You can use it as an air freshener. Cinnamon Bun, and it smells very much like a cinnamon bun. And then I also enjoy cinnamon toast. Cinnamon toast on Christmas morning, or really any morning, and cinnamon raisin toast in particular. That's what this smells like. Do you know about Land O'Lakes cinnamon sugar butter, I think it's called? Maybe it's not good for you, but gosh darn it, that stuff smells amazing. Anyway, this smells how that butter tastes. So good. And then of course, listen, the queen of cinnamon and boozy fragrances. Yes, everyone talks about her to death, but with good reason, because she smells so wonderful, especially if you don't overspray. It's Angel Share from Kilian. Wow. Just an absolutely delicious, quintessential Christmas fragrance. I would say that this is my top Christmas fragrance, but there's another one that I'm going to share with you in just a little bit here that is perfect for the holiday season. And then this one is like a 1.1 behind that. No, like if that's number one, this is 1.1 or 1.2 right behind that fragrance that I'm going to mention here in just a little bit. Then for the holidays, we all love ginger and gingerbread in particular. Gingerbread houses, gingerbread cookies, gingerbread itself, like bread that has ginger in it. Have you had that? People don't really talk about that, but it's a thing. And then again from Demeter, they make a fragrance called gingerbread. They actually make a fragrance called eggnog too, but I haven't smelled that to be able to tell you about that. But this smells like a gingerbread cookie, like exactly like a gingerbread cookie, fresh, fun. Some of these Demeter fragrances are a bit fleeting. You may get a few hours out of them, but at the price point, I think I got this for $12 or something. Like, who cares? Just spray it and spray it and spray it. Wonderful to put in your hair, on your clothing. It lasts a little bit longer than on skin. So spray down and just smell delicious this holiday season with this. There are lots of other scents that we could probably put in this video, but I do have to end it at some point. So before I do, I have the last fragrance. So like in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, the last float is Santa Claus in his sleigh with the reindeer and all of that. That brings up the rear. So the fragrance I'm going to share with you brings it all together. However, before I share, don't forget to drop in the comments your favorite holiday smell and smell association. And if you have a specific fragrance that you want to associate, do that too. We could have gone on and on and on with all of the foods and scents of the season, but let me end with the very magnificent, all-encompassing #1 holiday scent in my collection, Christmas in New York by Demeter. Nailed it, nailed it, nailed it. Ooh, it has the chestnuts roasting on the corner. You know what I'm talking about. The corner vendor stands in New York that have the sugared chestnuts, the sugared almonds, the sugared pecans, the sugared nuts of all kind. Yes, that's what this smells like. It also smells like a little bit of Christmas tree. It smells like Christmas cookies. It smells a little bit of cinnamon. It smells like everything that's fabulous about Christmas. I even get some berries in here. All of that is here in one fragrance. This nails it and is just fabulous to me. So this is my #1 pick. Thank you so much. I wish you a blessed holiday season, however you celebrate. And if you don't celebrate, may you have a peaceful holiday season and some time off of work to just relax and reflect on 2022 and all of the great things that have come your way this year or that will come your way in the next year. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, friends, and take care.